concept started by Dean Ferreira, the managing director of the NCC. He approached me to ask him to help him start this project in 2019. We then recruited women from Chrysalis Academy, and we formed a trifecta with the government and Chrysalis Academy, which is an academy that takes men and women from previously disadvantaged backgrounds and helps them get life lessons and job experience so they can go out into the world and be productive adults. We recruited our entire crew from Chrysalis Academy initially, and since then, in our second season now, we've actually started recruiting members of the public who have been firefighting, and we're now sitting with a crew with qualified firefighters and not just an internship program. This job represents hope and opportunity where there was none before. Women have been able to get into the industry as volunteers or in government, but there's never been this private opportunity where they can actually get themselves into the industry, make a line of their way to work their way up into higher roles and grow in the industry. Our goal is to open the door so that women can follow us in and that we can make the way for them forward.
The thing I enjoy about being a firefighter, I like to help people. I like to help those people who can't help themselves. I like to be a firefighter. I have a perseverance in firefighting.
It feels good. It's a new environment. I feel happy and excited most times. Now I have 3 years of firefighting. I feel good because it's the thing that I want to be. It means everything. Because I was one too. I remember that I always saw the fire brigade truck and then I just shouted at them, no, I want to be a firefighter, how can I join? You see, so it was my success to get the firefighter.
I don't like sitting behind a desk, and I like doing things physically. And for me, firefighting is not losing my child side. I'm just enjoying each and every moment.
To be a firefighter, just keep your body strong.
Training is where we learn where not to make our mistakes, where mistakes have been made in the past, that we can learn from them. There is no room for fear on the fire line. If you have the right training, that is what kicks in the moment you get out of your vehicle. It's difficult to train without having active flames to work on, so often we train without the flames, and we create scenarios that we can stimulate the type of environment we find ourselves in. But yeah, training is the name of the game. If we don't train, then we won't be safe and we won't know what to do when things do go wrong, and they can go wrong really quickly in the wildland-urban interface. The actual crew themselves, these ladies that are in this crew currently, are amazing. Like some of the best firefighters you'll ever see in your entire life. So much heart, so much passion. They sacrifice every single day to be a part of this project, and they are fully committed to the dream of bringing women into fire.
To be in this group is absolutely amazing because it feels like I'm with family when I'm at work, and when I go home I'm with another family. So it's a win-win for me.
I feel good, excited, happy because we're working together. We're sharing our food, sharing everything, so it's good.
We are out in the mountains for 24, 36, 48 hours at a time, where everything we need is on our backs or around us. So we have to really pull together and understand each other and be able to work together when we're under high stress, exhaustion, hunger, dehydration, all the worst elements a human can face, and still find a way to work together as a team. If you can't work together, you'll be inefficient on the line. You cannot do anything out there on your own. And knowing that someone has your back and knowing they have your back well is a game changer.
So my team leaders, I trust them, because if they can't put us on a situation, they know this situation is a hazard. First we check the safety zones and the escape route. Then if it's right for us, then we just follow their instruction.
Recently we were on a massive fire in Jonkershoek. and I stood on top of a peak and I watched the wind blow in a southeaster on the one side of the mountain and a northwester on the other side of the same mountain at 80 kilometers an hour in both directions. So local factors play an incredibly large role in how we tackle a fire. At that point, the people on the ground weren't experiencing any wind at all. So we have certain weather meters and tools that we use out there to take the local conditions into consideration. We also look at humidity and temperature and time of day. Those play very big roles along with weather.
It was a very scary fire, I don't want to lie. We even mentioned to say it's only the brave with the things that were happening, reflecting the movie that we watched. The last time, scary, not knowing what's going to happen because of the wind switching each and every time.
I experienced a lot of mixed emotions. At first I was anxious when we were on our way, when I heard about the fire being that big. And most of the ladies said that it's their first, this fire was the biggest fire for them.
It's just an on and off because of you don't know what's going to happen at some time, you understand? So mentally and physically you can be ready, but you have to expect the unexpected at some point.
So here in the Western Cape we have mountainous regions, so often we find ourselves high in the mountains. On the last fire that we were on in the last week, we were trooped in by chopper every single deployment. But most of the time we actually have to hike in and hike out, which can take 6 to 7 hours, and then perform a 24-hour deployment and then hike out again, carrying all of our tools. Generally we don't have water on these fires, so we use beaters and racos. We physically suppress the line by suppressing it with a beater and then coming with a raco in behind and scratching. That's the majority of how we approach fire in this area. If we have choppers bombing on us and doing water loads, or we have access to roads where we can get tankers to send us hoses, we consider ourselves very lucky, but we can do that if we have that kind of access, or fire hydrants even if we're on farms. Then the other thing that we face is that it's very hot during the day and it can be completely freezing during the evening. So again, the last fire we were on in Jonkershoek, up to 40 degrees Celsius in the afternoon and down to about 5 degrees in the evening, where we are completely exposed on top of a mountain just with the jackets that we've carried and sometimes a space blanket. So the variation in the temperature also plays a massive role, which also has an effect on fire behavior. So our evening operations, we generally are more successful, whereas our afternoon operations, we need to be more strategic. We always start with a safe anchor point, safety zone and escape route, and then we take it from there how we're going to engage with this fire, whether it be direct attack, indirect attack, a parallel attack, we're going to flank the fire. And all of this we do simulating in our training as well. We take scenarios, we look at videos, we see how did they handle this fire. We also have to take the terrain into account and what other resources we have on the fire. So there's a lot of variables to consider, but generally we try anchor ourselves and have a safety zone and escape route before we proceed. So I think we have established our own ways of doing things because of our unique terrain, but a lot of our influence comes from America with the ICS, the Incident Command System, and that structure of chain of command, span of control, having the hierarchy where instructions must come from your superiors. We do use that a lot here in the Western Cape. We also have a lot of influence from how the hotshots perform. They go out on 2-week deployments, we go out on 24-hour deployments, but they also engage indirectly with the fire, we engage directly with the fire. So we take what works here and we share for them what can work for them. It's not the same. I would probably compare us to Australia, the most similar type of vegetation. So working closely with other countries is going to be the way forward. It's a new concept, but it is definitely something that is happening. The one thing that I've seen the biggest change is prescribed fire, where we are starting to bring back fire into our terrain. We have been very much on the whole suppress mission, and then we leave huge fuel loads to grow completely overboard. And now we are starting to look at managing the fuel by burning it, even on the fires, back burning into a fire instead of waiting for the fire to come down the mountain. So I'm seeing fire coming more in as a tool and a more preactive and proactive response than a reactive response. But this is generally across the world that everyone is trying to bring back fire into the land management. Our main goal is not to be a female crew for eternity. Our goal is to integrate, and when we have just been known as firefighters, not female firefighters or the first female fire crew, when we are just called firefighters, that is when we have reached our goal and our target, just to be considered as equals.